You're listening to the Progaxia podcast.
Hi everybody, it's Andy here, and as you can see I've got John Holden and John Camp, and we're going to be talking about something which is, well, it's pretty serious, but it's all about a charity single and album that has come out through John Holden. So John, can you give us a little bit of background on the album, how it came about, and what's your involvement with it really?
Okay, so the charity involved is ovarian cancer research. So that's a subject that's quite close to home because my wife Libby has ovarian cancer, and this is specifically targeting research into what they call low grade ovarian cancer, and this research is happening at Edinburgh University. And of course, all cancers are a nightmare. We understand that. But ovarian cancer, it's very hard to actually diagnose in the first place. It's quite rapid and very, well, almost impossible for people to survive it for any length of time. And also affects a very wide range of age groups in women. So there's people in their 20s who contract it. So that's what the whole charity thing is about. And what happened was, probably going on about 12 months ago, I contacted Mr. Camp because we'd been working together on my Rise and Fall album. And I'd always loved Northern Lights as a song. So I kind of asked John what his thoughts were, whether he'd want to get involved. And he said he would. Then what happened was we hit the pandemic and everything kind of stopped. And I moved on to recording my new album. I finished that back end of last year. And I thought, maybe the time's right, to try and do the charity thing again. The original idea was that it was just going to be Northern Lights and another song called Circles. And then it kind of grew, and the people involved kindly donated songs from their back catalogues. So it's now I think a 10-track album, and there's loads of fantastic songs on there. John's got a Band of Rain song on there, and we've got stuff from Tiger Moth Tales and Joe Payne.
Yeah, I'm just getting your page up here. This is it's called Together Apart, and it's available now to get, and the money goes to charity, and that's the biggest thing. But there is some really good stuff on here. You got Northern Lights, like an extended mix and a radio mix as well, which is what we need to do nowadays. And the extended mix is very interesting. But you got tracks from yourself. You got Tiger Moth Tales on there, Mystery, Mark Atkinson, That Joe Payne, Oliver Day, Band of Rain, which Johnny's in as well, and Lux
Terminus.
Yes, Lux Terminus. There's loads of great tracks. I listened to this last night, and it's really good. And I just wanted to say that the track Northern Lights is such an iconic track. It's such a fantastic track. And doing a remake of that, was there any sort of things that you wanted to try and do with it that sort of make it a little bit special? Because I've listened to it and it is absolutely fabulous. It really grabs that original feel, but it's got a much more contemporary sort of sound to it. So
so you always have to tread carefully, I think, because I love that song and millions of other people love that song. So my idea was to pay respect to the original, keep some of the key elements in place, but kind of drag it a little bit into the 21st century. And also, because we like our prog, I wanted to extend it and take it somewhere unexpected, which at the time we weren't convinced, John, whether that would work or not, but it's actually turned out great. So Yeah, so that was the key idea. Homage to the original, bit of modernisation, and go somewhere new in the true progressive spirit.
Now, Mr. Kemp, redoing Northern Lights. I mean, what was it? I mean, when you first did Northern Lights, give us a little bit of background about how that came about, the original.
The original, yeah. Well, when we got to the stage of starting to write for a new album, Mickey would have ideas, I would have ideas, and then he and I would sort of go into our own little personal lockdown for a couple of weeks, and we'd go through all the songs and we'd work on them, and we'd add this and we'd add that. Mickey had got the open 12-string, and we just started working on it from there. I wrote the little hornpipey bit that goes in the middle, and obviously the trippy up bass part that sounds like it's out of time, but it's actually not. Took it into the studio. Everybody loved it. Went down, recorded Like a Dream, which always tells me that we're heading in the right direction. Came out as a band. We'd never had any idea of any intention of having a single. We were on tour in the States, in upstate New York, Rochester. Phone goes, "Hi, this is Warner Brothers England. Your single's charted. We want you to stop the tour. We've spoken to the manager. Come back, top of the pops, Seaside, whatever it was, Seaside Special or something." I remember doing it on the back of a boat going across it. I mean, it was not a lot of fun. So I'll tell you about it. Everybody looked green. But yeah, it was just a dream. The song worked quite well, and it's a nice little legacy. You know, I mean, we're not a singles band, never were a singles band. I mean, yes, managed to sort of have 4, 5, 6 hit records, you know. But we tried to follow it up with another song called Bonjour Swan Song, which was similar, in fact, probably too similar. And it didn't emulate it, it flopped. So, you know, we went back to doing what we do best. But as a song, yeah, I mean, it's never going to go away. And I still enjoy playing it now because it's good fun and it's upbeat and it's happy and, you know, it's not dark progressive.
What was it like, sort of just, you know, like recreating it in a sort of more of a modern recording version? What was it like to do it again?
Is this to me or to John?
Yeah, to you, John Camp. Jason, we've got two Johns here. So
the beauty of the internet, of course, is that John sort of let me have little rough mixes of things as we went along. And you could see the form it was taking. And to be honest with you, I could see a freshness in it, which, as John said, if you're going to do it the same as the original, there's not really a lot of point. I did have some trepidation about using female vocals again, I'll be honest, as John and I have discussed, but it works because it's a completely different kind of voice. And the icing on the cake for me was to get my old buddy Gavin Harrison to come in and play on drums. Gavin and I locked together really, really well. It's not to say that Terry and other drummers that within the band were, but Gavin's younger. He's got a slightly fresher approach, possibly one of the best drummers in the world for sure. Yeah. So to me, having a nice tight rhythm section, and John's mixed the bass a little bit louder. I love that guy. It's fresh, it's new, and putting the end section on was a masterstroke because it's a seamless delivery. It doesn't sound like it's added on, which would have made it really a no-go area. It just flows nicely. So I'm exceedingly happy with it. And I mean, apart from the fact it's going to raise money for a fantastic charity, I think it's going to bring the song back to life, if you like, maybe not just hear it on BBC Radio 2. And I think it's a wonderful project, and it's a great production. I really can't fault it now.
Yeah, I was basically saying before we started this recording, this podcast, that it does sort of fill you with a little bit of trepidation when you hear that such an iconic track as Northern Lights, which I love. I mean, I've always loved it. That you're redoing it and you sort of think, I wonder if it's going to be as good as the original. But oh my God, it is so good. It captures what I wanted out of a track, yeah, but it's just modernized it, and that end bit as well. I don't think we should say what the end bit is emulating a little bit, just let people sort of worry. We can talk about it later, but if anybody listens to it, if you can find out, if you can think of what that end bit is actually, all about, put it in the comments, let us know, and see if you can do it. Let's keep it as a little bit of a mystery. We might reveal it, on another podcast or something like that, but I think it'd be interesting to see if people recognize what that end bit is. So it's definitely worth getting it and listen to the sort of longer version of it.
I think it's going to be earworm of the day, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But from my perspective, having John on board, ultimately it was always going to be down to John's say. I was going to take it as far as I could, get it as good as I could, and then John would have to say yay or nay. So I'm just glad he said yes.
I'd be crazy not to, really, wouldn't I?
But I think the other thing as well is I was, because of the musicians involved, absolutely every piece of work that people sent in was fantastic. Gavin's drums, John's bass. There's 5 different vocalists on there, and in all honesty, each one of them could have been a lead vocal. So the problem was really, trying to let everyone have their little time in the sun, but not make it sound too bitty, like some charity-based things can be, So I try to give people a full verse or a full chorus or whatever to make it a bit more substantial. And then at the end, I asked everyone whether they could do some art, a sort of choral effect, which they did. So we ended up with a 60 vocal tracks to represent the choir. So unfortunately, there were some other great instruments going on in that end section, but I really wanted to capture that choir, so I had to mix them down a little bit. But there's a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
The risk. I wouldn't have liked to have mixed it.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic, and as you say, it is for a really, really good cause as well. So let me just put this is where we can get it from. If you go over to John Holden's Bandcamp site, again, let me just stick this up on screen so we can see it. There we go. So it's on here. Just go to johnholden.bandcamp.com. And you can go and buy it there, and just say all the cash goes to charity. It's a bloody good cause, and you are able to pay more than the asking price. So if you want to donate to a fantastic charity, and it's because it is a great charity to donate to, just go to johnholden.bandcamp.com. and go and buy the album. There's some fantastic tracks on there. It's really, really worth it. So guys, thanks very much for coming on and talking about that today, because as you say, it's a really, really good track. It's great to see you guys as well, and
thanks for having us, John.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. So go and buy it, and we'll see you all next time. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay.
You're listening to the Progaxia Podcast.